Hello everyone, welcome back to another week's video. This week's gonna be a little different. I want to bring value to everybody and I want to not just be spouting on about different things. So this week I'm gonna be talking about little random acts of feminism that you can do every day that don't have to be huge, don't have to be big statements, and they could just be like little things you do every day that, make maybe a little difference in the world and make you feel good and make you feel like you're actually contributing and just, yeah, having a good time. What I kind of want to say before jumping in is that, I obviously think everyone should call themselves feminist, no matter what you're doing. I know some people don't like calling themselves feminists because if they think, well, I'm not doing anything, I'm not really actually contributing or helping to fight sexism in any way. And my thing is like, I want everyone to call themselves feminists no matter what you're doing. I mean, I think that in itself is such a big thing and it actually makes such a big statement, so that's like that. But if you then want to go a bit further and you want to say, okay, well, I identify as a feminist, what can I do to actively contribute, making the world a better place, then these are just some little things you can do. And obviously, disclaimer, these are all just little things. Sexism is systemic. It's like racism, it's systemic, it's ingrained, it's inbuilt, and it is not necessarily just up to the people on the ground to fix this issue. There are huge fundamental changes that need to be made, i.e. within our justice systems and our legal systems in general and our governments and in big business and all these things. But these are just, if you're just frustrated and you're like, oh my god, I'm not doing anything and nothing's changing, these are just some little things you can do and hopefully just make everyone feel good. So let's get right in. Number one, my personal pet peeve is when guys are like, oh, ladies first, or like opens door for you, and I just like to make kind of a joke of it, and I'm like, no, you go first. And they're like, no, you go first. And I'm like, no, you go first. And just be like, I insist, just big smile on your face, and just maybe make them a little bit uncomfortable, maybe make them question why they're so insistent on you going first, it's just kind of a small thing that's funny. Number two, if you're in, I personally haven't done this, but if you're in a clothes store, and obviously like there are so many sexist clothes for boys and girls, so a lot of the times, you see girls' t-shirts that have like, I'm a princess, or like there's ones that say like, I'm too pretty to do math, like, oh my god. So what I've read is some people have been like, say like maybe taking the t-shirts from the girls section and moving it into the boys section or vice versa, just to kind of show how ridiculous it is and just to kind of show up like, okay, a boy would never ever wear something as ridiculous as that, so why are we putting it in the girls section, or things like how, girls shorts are way shorter than boys shorts, like again, moving them between the different sections, or simply just moving them to like completely random sections of a shop or a store and kind of forcing people to, like people who work there or anybody else to kind of question, to have to actually be forced to look at the t-shirt and say like, oh, that's funny, I have to move this to its correct section, but while I'm moving it, Jesus, this statement is pretty weird. Yeah, just little things like that, just kind of cause a little fuss and no one has to know. Number three, if you work in a company and there's a load of women, if you're in a meeting or just kind of in a boardroom, just simple thing like if a woman says something, just maybe, just kind of nod to yourself and, other people can see you nodding and agreeing with what she's saying, or even just simply saying like, oh, I agree with, what Lauren said. I mean, obviously if you don't agree with this, like, don't fake it. If you don't agree with it, you don't agree with it. But if you do, if you think it's a good point, just, make it very obvious that you support this. If, a man comes in 2 minutes later and says the exact same thing, even just simply saying something like, oh, well, actually, Lauren already said that, but thank you, simple things like that, just so that, just to kind of be an ally and be supportive and, yeah, just make it very known that this person is doing a good job. Number four, if you see, like, a little girl and she's looking in the mirror and she's maybe criticizing herself and she's saying I'm ugly and she's saying I'm fat, you don't even have to go into a big whole spiel about like sexism and the pressures on women and why she might feel that way, but just simply just a few words of encouragement, just be like, no, you look great, and it's also not all about looks, like you're so smart and you're so funny and you have so many things that are amazing about you, and just just to uplift little girls and other women. And on that as well, if you're a mother or if you're just any kind of person, it's so hard not to criticize ourselves, but when little girls see us criticizing ourselves, they take that in and they then think, okay, well that's normal, and this is a grown woman who's who appears to be super confident, and she's criticizing herself, so maybe I should start doing that. You know, just maybe to be mindful of criticizing yourself in front of little girls, and even in time, like, that helps you, because then, you know, you're not talking shit about yourself when you shouldn't be, you know. But always maybe just think that there's a little girl there watching you, and maybe that, you know, that'll help you, and that'll also help her. Number 5, now not everyone's going to be comfortable doing this. This is just simply, you know, if you're online and you see, you know, a sexist advertising, or just someone has said something sexist, you know, just call it out. If it's a tweet, you know, retweet it, just be like, this is sexist. You know, that's something very simple. Again, yeah, not everyone's going to be comfortable doing that, but just something small. Just maybe give it a share and just say this is wrong, or this isn't okay, or I don't like this, or this doesn't, you know, this isn't good for women. Just something like that, even if it's just, you know, one thing a month. Something small. Number 6 is buy from female run businesses. So if it's just, you know, a shop, like a food shop, go there, buy your groceries there. If it's, you know, a clothes shop, go buy your clothes there. If it's things where they're usually industries dominated by men, like if it's like a mechanic or an electrician, or like a computer tech, you know, fixer, I don't even know. You know, if there are women who are doing these jobs, go to them, bring your business there. Like, you know, like there are so many men who are doing these things, who have so much business. But, you know, women are going to struggle if they're in those kind of male dominated industries. So bring your business there, you know, and support women. Number 7 is stop white feminism. You know, if you're in the position to, if you're organizing spaces, or if you're, you know, organizing events or conferences, and just make your event spaces as inclusive as possible. And that actually just doesn't just go about, you know, including women of color, but including all women, you know, women with disabilities, you know, gay women or bi women or Muslim women, women of different religions, and just make them as inclusive as possible, and just be conscious of not having just all like straight white women as your go-to. Just to, yeah, make it as inclusive as possible. Number 8, if you're in a bookshop or just kind of a newsagent, and if you see like a book that's sexist, or it's written by a sexist author, or you see like a newspaper that has like, I don't know, fucking like women's tits sprawled across the front page, or it's just a really sexist headline, a funny tip is to maybe get like, either turn them around, just literally turn them back of themselves so that no one can see them. Or if you know a book that's written by a woman, or it's a really feminist book, like grab that book and just put it in front of the bad book, you know. Or if you see a good newspaper that has maybe a really positive story about a woman on the front, move that in front of the next one. You know, again, something small. Obviously, like, don't get in trouble, like, don't let anyone see you, but it's just something small that you can do, just kind of make a statement, and just, you know, highlight women's voices and make them heard, and make people see the nice things in the world and not the bad things. Number 9, and I'm a terror for this, but it's gotta change, guys. When you should say women or woman and you say girl instead, it's not good, guys. We really need to work on it. Like, girl is for girls, like children who are under 18, you know. It's not for a 25-year-old woman or a 40-year-old woman, and it's really bad because, like, it just, first of all, if you use it in the workplace, it implies that this woman is a child because you're referring to them as a girl, and i.e. then not capable of doing their job, or it's just a bit like juvenile or immature, and it's just simply not true. Or it actually just contributes to like this, a woman is a woman. A woman is sexy and strong and attractive to men. Like, girls, if you're calling a woman a girl, girls should not be attractive to men. It shouldn't be a thing that we're talking about girls when we mean women. It's not appropriate, it's not okay, and I literally, it's something that I really try and work on, even when I'm talking about like meeting up with the girls. Like, I'm like, oh, should I even be saying that? Or like, oh yeah, the girl who works in the office down below. No, that's actually probably a woman. And I think, like, it's so funny because we don't want to use it because in our heads woman is like 50 or 60 or something, and that's shameful. I don't know, but it's not, you know. A woman is, it can be a young woman or just a woman. Like, I'm 25, I feel like a woman now, and you know, I don't want to be called a girl. Not that I think shameful being called a girl, but we wouldn't call like a 25-year-old guy a boy. We just wouldn't, because it's patronizing, it's you know, it's making him out to be younger than he is and less experienced, and it's just like not respectful, I think. So let's just call women as women. Woohoo! I need to stop doing this. I don't know why I keep doing this. Number 10, and this happens all the time, if you're filling out a form or like an online form or even like a form in person or whatever, and you're filling out your name and it gives the options for like the prefixes or whatever, and it might say like Mr. or Miss, like M-I-S-S, and then Mrs. And you're like, okay, I'm not a man, I'm not a maiden or whatever this M-I-S-S thing is, and I'm not married, and there is no option for me. I'm a stickler about this. I want the M-S. I don't care. No one needs to know my marriage status. It is so outdated. It is so ridiculous how it's even still a thing. Fair enough, if you want to and you want people knowing your marriage status, I don't care, but nobody's any business knowing that about me. And it's just, like, it's like, I don't even care if people know my marriage status, but it's the principle of it. It shouldn't even be an issue. Why is there not an equivalent for men? It's not an issue for them. It shouldn't be an issue for us. So if you're filling out a form and it isn't there, if someone's next to you who's asking you to fill out the form, say like, oh, where's the MS option? Or, you know, write it in yourself. Or if you're online, you know, if they say like, if there's an option for like other, you know, put in Miss there. Just, you know, basically make a fuss, point it out to whoever is making you fill out the form, and just be kind of like, why is this not a thing? Why do you still want to know my marriage status? It should be a thing, you know? And 11, and this goes back to a video I had a few weeks ago, is when you see a dick drawn on like bathroom stalls or walls or anything, which you will because they are everywhere, get a marker and draw a vulva instead. And I will link that video down below as well if you missed it, because yeah, that's just something I particularly like to do, and I think it's really important, guys, because people just don't know actually the anatomy of the vulva and vagina area. So one, mainly for that, but two, just because. And finally, number 12, if you have, you know, kids, or you have nieces and nephews, or you have godson or goddaughter, and you're buying them presents, just be mindful of what you're buying them, guys. You know, don't just be buying the girls' dolls, you know, don't just be buying the boys Lego or, you know, really exciting, like fun, like electric cars or anything, you know, or don't just buy the boys blue things and the girls pink things. Just be super mindful. And even, you know, with books, you know, don't just buy books about princesses who need to be rescued by the man. Don't do it, guys. Or similarly for the boys, you know, don't just buy books about warriors who need to be strong and brave and can't show feelings. You know, don't just be super mindful. And there are so many books out there nowadays that are for children but that have been written with this notion in mind, and they're quite feminist, and they don't even have this like outrageous feminist story to them. It's just simply they just done away with these like outdated stereotypes, and they're just really nice for kids to read, and they show you how to, you know, feel and just be free from stereotypes, and they're just nice. So yeah, just number 12, be mindful of what you are buying kids. So that is the video this week. I hope that is helpful. Let me know if you enjoy that kind of video and whether that's kind of helpful, because I want to obviously bring value to everybody and not just be me ranting about things. I want people to actually go out there and, you know, help in some way, shape or form. And these are just, again, small things you can do to make a difference. You may not agree with all of these, or you might only want to do a couple of them and not all of them, but these are just suggestions, and I hope that you might maybe try someone out. And if you do, let me know. So let me know what you think, and don't forget to like my page or like the video if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!